The setup for this Saturday is to really make the fingerprint that I put on the collegiate world of track and field, as permanent and as thick and as imprinted as possible in the minds of not only the people here at Oregon. I think what better place to end my collegiate season off at the historic Hayward Field, but to make history at the historic Hayward Field as a collegiate athlete, and just to give something back to the people that have given so much to me. I love this place. Like, I've received so much love from all the people here, but even more than that, my team. I've seen them grow, I've seen the program grow, and so to be able to give back as much as I can to them and give them the points for nationals, but of course become a national champion again, but to really just enjoy myself, to make it an experience not just for me, but just for anybody that might be watching. I love the fact that coming off of the Olympics, I have given the opportunity to give somebody else a dream. Whether they want to be a high jumper or not, I've freed someone to believe that their dream is possible. And so to bridge that gap with my last collegiate meet, for my teammates, for any other track and field athlete out there, for any freshman who's experiencing their first national championship, it's like, hey, don't be happy to be here. Don't be happy to be here. You're supposed to be here. Raise the bar. So by raising the bar for myself, I can raise the bar for somebody else. And so to just push that bar up just a little bit higher so that somebody else can push the bar up higher in their own life, that's the goal for this Saturday. Break another collegiate record, but just have fun and show people, you work so hard for this. Life is meant to be enjoyed, and it's when hard work and success come together that the fullness of enjoyment can really happen. I've been thinking about my first year pro since my freshman year. And so setting up things, it's all just putting things into place. I kind of explained this year, especially as crazy as it's been for me, as like there's a whole bunch of things thrown up in the air and I've just been waiting for God to put them down in order. And so part of that order is me doing what I have to do. So I can't separate focusing on now and looking towards the future. Those two go together. By focusing on now, I can allow myself to look towards the future and make sure that where I wanted to end up in the future is exactly where I'm going. But I think that not looking toward the future ever can lead to no direction, no focus, no place for the bullet to really go, no place for the target to end up. Because say we're looking at a target, you have to look at the red dot before you can say, I want to hit that. So I have to figure out where I want my dot, where I want my life to hit. And so when I think about just track, yes, I want to become world champion. I want to break the American record so I can move on to the world record. These things have to happen. And so I focus on, I see the end goal, and then I focus on my job right in front of me in order to get to that end goal. And so, yeah, I do have a tendency to look at the bigger picture, but that's just because I understand. I mean, I've lived life focusing on myself, and that is such a hard way to live. It's so hard, like waking up and just being like, okay, well, where am I gonna get this? Or let me make my money, how am I gonna live for myself? Because everything dies within me. That's like being like an amazing king of Egypt or queen of Egypt, and I take all my gold and put it in the grave with me. What sense does that make? That's not helping anything, that's not living on, but my hope is that my dream won't die with me. If I've done a good job here on this earth, my dream will be passed on to somebody else. I will live on to somebody else. The most beautiful thing to me about birth, about recreation, about people reproducing, is the fact that your DNA is going into somebody. So it's like God's already figured out how to clone people. It's like my gene, my seed, me, I am living in somebody else every time I multiply. And so that's how dreams should operate. That's how life should operate. This building isn't going to help anybody if it goes into the ground with the person that originally created it. But there's memories, there's things happening here where I stand right now because someone sought to make it good so that I can enjoy it too. How do I manage my time? Definitely being a student athlete, I feel the NCAA collegiate process is daggone amazing. I feel anybody that goes through this process, through this program, has been fully prepared for life. Time management, you truly have to understand that in order to be able to excel in the classroom and excel on the track. Like, you have to really do well at juggling time, heart's desires, focus, demands. And so now that I can successfully and nicely place down the demands of being in the class or studying for some exam, I can now balance what were my original hearts and desires with what has become the desires of my heart. I love doing track, but it wasn't something, if I'm honest to say, I wasn't a kid dreaming about becoming the best high jumper in the world. I didn't know about the world of track and field. I didn't know about professional track. So my heart has always been a very artistic or expressive being. And so I love to sing, I love to write, I love acting, and I love writing, because writing is something, I think about Shakespeare and how he's been kind of made immortal by us, by the people that, every person that picks up his book and read it. And so not only do I want what I do on the track to become immortal, but I want to write because I understand what it means to be human. And so we can all relate on that aspect. And so if somebody picks up my works or reads a poem that I write or watches a movie that I act in or something, if somebody experiences that and can relate with me, whether I'm alive or dead, because we are both humans and we both know what it means to be human, that's why I love to spend my time in things like the Bible says, store up your treasures for eternity, for heaven and stuff. And it's like, yes, I want to store that up. So that's me working on my inward character, but also storing up treasures for somebody to enjoy here on earth is also my goal through my art. And so I love to write. I plan on working. I've started the idea for a book that I would really love to publish. I'm going to keep that kind of secret because I'm working on it. And working on a poetry book that I would love to have published, but also with more time being open, I'd love to really work and refine my singing abilities and my acting abilities, because those were the original desires of my heart. And I cannot live a life in a way to pursue track that will deter me from that, because what I love to do, my passion, will make me resent my dream. And so I always have to keep the two in perspective, because I don't believe in sacrificing anything. I don't believe in the idea that I would have to completely sacrifice anything. So I would always question and push that envelope, because a lot of people, that's their mindset. But I even think about like Jackie Jordan Kersey and just athletes that have succeeded. What was amazing about them is that they succeeded in being excellent, amazing, like legendary in many different things. And so it's my goal to do what most people don't think can be done. So I wouldn't sacrifice unless I believe that the sacrifice is necessary, or unless I search within my heart and realize, okay, this is no longer become a desire in my heart. But especially not being a student athlete anymore, this past semester I was taking 18 units, so and I had an internship 16 plus hours, I still got it done. And so I've proven to myself that it's more than possible. But sometimes I will say, like for example, next year I really plan on taking my time to focus on training, staying healthy and stuff like that, but working on my acting craft. So I do a thing where I might take a specific period of time to focus on one and kind of like chill on the other. But I always work that out with my coach, with me, and see, okay, is that working towards our end goal, and what is the end goal? But I always have to like redefine and sharpen that and stuff. And so I would say we found a way to incorporate singing into track. And so it's like I can sing national anthems different places, or whatever someone wants me to sing in different places, but being excellent at track, or excelling in track, has afforded me that opportunity. If I didn't do well at the Olympics, I'm pretty sure that the baseball team would not be asking me to come sing at their thing on 9/11, at their game on 9/11. I wouldn't have had that opportunity necessarily like that. So I understand how the two can definitely work together. And so it's kind of trying to convince other people that the two can work together that's the hardest part.